Well, thought I'd do a quick little review on my digital ARB tyre deflator. To be quite honest, when I first saw this get released, I was a little bit skeptical. I was sort of like, really? Digital? Like, I'm kind of old school. I like old things. So the old traditional analog style deflator, you know, I was all about that. But then when I bought the new truck, I thought, you know what, I'll get something nice, I'll lash out a bit. So I ended up getting this. And from the first time I used it, I've absolutely loved it. I had the GQ for many years. In that I was using the Ridge Rider deflator from Super Cheap. Roughly about half the price. Still does the same job, still a rapid deflator. But as far as all this and the efficiency of this and the ease of use, the userability, I suppose you could word it, just not even close. Oh, but this is really stiff. See, this was my issue. This was my gripe with this unit back when I first bought it. This is so stiff. Oh, look how hard that is. Once I had that on the stem, I was almost pulling the stem out of the rim because this was so hard. I don't know if it's just this unit. Maybe I got a dud, I don't know, or if it's just them in general. Ugh, but that is, I'm putting a fair bit of force into trying to get that out. And that, I'm not going to lie, using it all those years, that used to do my goat in. And especially being a little concerned about ripping that stem out of the tyre, or the wheel as well. They look the same, they look completely the same, but this just works so much smoother. Even when it comes to screwing onto the stem, it's just so smooth. And then when it comes to pulling the valve out, unscrewing the valve, and then releasing the air, it's just miles ahead. Like I say, they look identical, but this is just by far miles ahead. If someone was to ask, is it worth paying the extra money for? In my opinion, and how much I use this, 100% it is. 100% it is worth spending that extra money, getting something a lot more decent like this. When you're using things, say, every weekend, you don't want to be dealing with something that is slightly inferior and can antagonise you or annoy you in any sort of way. You want things to work smoothly, you want things to work nicely. So in that sense, yes, it's definitely worth the extra money. If you're only going out a few times a year, a cheaper one of any variation is gonna do you fine. So I guess that being said, think about how much you're using your deflator. Airing down is that kind of thing where it's vital. For any wheeler, it's a vital method. It needs to be done. When it comes to someone like me who's using these almost every weekend, and quite often a few times on a weekend, 100% you want to be using something, my personal opinion, I want to be using something that is just that bit more efficient. Because like I've said before, when you're out in the bush, the last thing you want is for something to be giving you the shits. You know what I mean? Efficiency has to play a massive role. When you're using things over and over and over again, you don't want something about that thing ticking you off or getting on your goat. Some of you might be thinking, does one air down quicker than the other one? In my honest opinion, no, I don't think it will. They're different versions of the same type of deflator. They still pull the valve out, and they're still going to once that valve's out, the same amount of air is going to come out. So I think speed is completely irrelevant. I don't think one of them is going to let down a tyre quicker than the other. Airing down is kind of one of those things that it can be quite complacent, and you can get a little impatient, not really want to do it, but when you do, it just makes the drive so much better. The way your car will perform, the traction you gain, preservation of the tracks, it affects so many areas. In this day and age where horsepower is pushed as king, the waters are getting very muddy with old fundamental traditional methods like airing down. For as long as four-wheel driving has been what it is, airing down has been that fundamental method right from the beginning. and it needs to continue to be that way. So it's fantastic that there are products like this that can make it so bloody easy now. And really there is no excuse at all to not be airing down when there's such readily available and fantastic products like this to be able to use. So if you are in the market for a deflator, and you're trying to perhaps even figure out what type of deflator you might like, there are a few different options out there on the market, whether it be your Storm or this rapid style deflator where it pulls the valve out and lets the air rapidly out of the stem. I hope this in some way has helped and even helped to narrow down what particular variant of that style you might want. As I say, I don't want to be negative and I don't want to shit all over the more mid-range or the beginner ones, because at the end of the day the aim is just to air down. No matter how you do it, just air down. But if you are thinking of spending that extra money and you've got the coin there to do it, I highly recommend 100% to go and spend the extra bit of money and get something like this. As I say, I hope you got something out of this video. Let me know in the comments, tell me what you're using. Thanks for watching. We'll talk soon, see you on the next one. Hooroo.